So my name is Oliver Stewart and I am a practicing artist. I've been a resident of Hamilton, Kirikiriroa for about 15 years. Moved here from Whangaroa to become a student at the University of Waikato studying the Screen and Media degree within the broader School of Arts program. Did that up until 2015, graduated with a master's degree, and then kind of did a lot of freelance work. Had a few really minor shows that I was involved with, but nothing really serious. And I think my gateway into doing exhibits, amongst other things, was Arts for Health. They had the annual Arts for Health competition, and I put some of my work in, I think in 2016. Got a prize out of that, met David Lloyd, met the Arts for Health team, got some really good feedback on the work. Lots of support, lots of really nice people kind of talking about that stuff. Met a lot of people on the night that were really cool, a lot of interesting artists, and it's kind of curtailed from there, just being able to get access into shows, having confidence to kind of approach exhibits and galleries and people who run the spaces, and kind of mainly thanks to Arts for Health, I guess, yeah. So the themes and ideas that I play around with in my art is kind of a mix of everything that I experience. Way back when I was a high school student, I was kind of experimenting a lot with inks and kind of colour splashes and like loose media that could like flow across paper and canvases, and I kind of despised acrylics and oils because they're too controlled. I was a big fan of Ralph Steadman, and Marilyn Manson at the time was using a lot of watercolors and kind of that more expressive kind of medium. And then in 2009, I watched a documentary about Michelle Basquiat, and it changed my life, and got into neo-expressionism, and he did a lot of stuff where he would kind of write down ideas, and it was a mix of things, a mix of the media that he was experiencing in the moment, reading newspapers and books, listening to music, watching movies, all of these things kind of combining and becoming an action within the painting process. I kind of took that on board and started adopting that kind of mindset of creating, and started using acrylic paints and found objects, lots of kind of wooden panels that you could find in a scrap heap. And living by the ocean, there was a lot of detritus that would wash up, and it's kind of trash. No one ever is going to want to use it, so I started to adopt that as a medium that I could use. A lot of driftwood, lots of kind of badly aged paints that have kind of separated from the chemicals, leads to interesting results. Basically, at that time period, I was just trying to use everything and anything that I could get my hands on. My mum, of course, taught 5-year-olds for a good 30 plus years, and would create a lot of the toys for her kids, and that was a massive influence on me. She would always be creating little toy sculptures for her children, and had her own art practice that was always being worked on when I was growing up. And I would come home from the university holidays, and she'd have these massive buckets of half-used colour pencils and pens that were going to sit there for years and years without being used, and so I started borrowing those from her, and started using those to kind of create things. Lots of pens that weren't fully functional and you kind of get scratch results out of. I try to utilise as many imperfect tools as possible to create something interesting to me, in hopes that other people would enjoy it. It's just the kind of broken down, like half perfect medium that I go for. Because perfection isn't achievable, so I try to go the opposite way, make it as imperfect as possible, because every art piece is a development in the course of knowing how to do something. The reason I became an artist initially was because I was in high school and I wasn't really good at anything else. I felt at home just sitting, drawing, kind of expressing myself, making stupid little cartoons. I collected a little kids magazine called Mania, as well as K-Zone and Disney magazine, between the ages of 7 and 14, I think. And they had little comics made by independent artists, mostly based in Australia. That was a massive kind of thing that I would try and recreate when I was a kid. So that was one of the starting points. And as I mentioned, my mum has her own creative practice, so she would always have art resources around the place. She would take over the kitchen most weekends to create the toys for her classrooms and learning resources for her classrooms. So I can safely say that it's 100% mum's fault that I'm doing this, but there's also a factor of the media that I absorbed as a kid and the fact that I just was not good at math or English or any of the other subjects in school, and it kind of made me despair quite a lot, and it was kind of, art became my safe haven for, not having to worry about not achieving my grades. Yeah. It's a weird thing. I don't think my art has a singular impact. I am just another artist working in a wider group of the Kirikiriroa art scene. And it's not necessarily the art itself that I think has an impact. It's more the learned experiences that I picked up along the way of how to set up an exhibit and how to talk to people and all that kind of stuff, and passing that on to the younger people. So I work at the university and I have a lot of experience working with first, second, third year students who have never done this kind of thing. And the great joy of working in that environment is being able to say to someone whose shoes I've been in, how they can get their work out there. That was the biggest hurdle for me, was trying to figure out a way of being seen and being heard. There's the internet, but you feel like you're screaming into the void. It's being part of the community and taking those first steps into becoming part of that community that is the most daunting thing. So to reiterate, it's not the work that I think has an impact, it's more the experiences that I can share with people that has the impact. Yeah. So the first time I heard about Arts for Health would have been in 2015. I was doing a master's project at the time. There was a space on the university campus called Art Fusion, run by Amy Roche. It was a small space that served as a gathering spot for creative students, which was theatre, dance, music, painters, poets, illustrators, cosplayers, anyone who was kind of playing around with a creative medium. We could just go hang out, socialise. For the most part, it was just a space to go and sit and create stuff with resources that were provided by the space, but also meet like-minded people. I met a ton of people who I still work with today. Waidahu Grant in particular, I don't think I would have really known him for a while if it weren't for Art Fusion. Jacob Blair Tate, who also created the underground radio station for students. There's a whole bunch of people who gathered at that space, and I think it was Naomi who actually introduced me to Arts for Health. She put a poster up on the wall and said you should take part in this. So in a way, thanks to her, I'm part of Arts for Health. All the way back in 2015, I kind of knew about you guys, and like I said, it was a gateway into the community. I think I had one exhibit within Hamilton Central at the time, but Arts for Health was my way of getting my foot in the door. The first experience was kind of so amazing and friendly and remarkable that I could not partake in it the next year, and then the next year, and the next year. Like coming back into that competition, going into the gallery spaces that you've used, seeing all these familiar faces, having conversations, reminiscing, catching up. Because I don't really see the Arts for Health team too often, or not as often as I would like. So kind of getting to see them once or twice a year, and the excitement of the Arts for Health competition as well is pretty cool, because everyone's really excited and buzzed and chatting about their work and all the other works that have gone into it. And it's grown and grown and grown as well. I think in 2015 it was shown at David Lloyd's residence, and it was for the next 3 or so years. I think it's moved to the Arts Post for the last 2 years. But yeah, the fact that the team worked so hard and has managed to expand it, it's kind of exciting to see it grow and grow. And yeah, I just like seeing the people who come into this space having their work on show is really special. And it's the camaraderie and the community aspect of it. It's, where else would you find it apart from Arts for Health? The importance of Arts for Health in the community can't be stated enough. For me, as a neurotypical person who had a good upbringing, has a stable job and a stable life and a stable income, all of these factors help me feel secure and safe. But the creative act of making things and sharing things with other people has been the biggest boon in my life, and has made me friends, has given me purpose in life. And so for the people that Arts for Health caters to provide that for them is amazing. It gives them a space to hang out, a space to make friends, a space to create and express themselves and communicate in ways that are difficult for some of these people. Even talking in public, even talking to friends, it can be trying to talk about certain feelings. Creativity and making things in an abstract way, away from conversation, is really beneficial, because you can draw something that you've had pent up inside and pass it to the next person and not have to talk about it. They can just take it, look at it, and understand what you're going through. So Arts for Health does all of those things and more. It's an education facility, it's a community space, it's a warm environment. It provides so many things. Yeah, without art, I would still probably be a shy teenager who didn't know how to talk to people. And it's given me so much confidence to go through life, being able to paint a picture and have it up on the wall and have someone, a complete stranger, come along and talk about it has been amazing. I've just met so many people through doing it, and kind of met people from all walks of life who have provided different insight to what it's all about, yeah, it's a conversation starter. It's a means of connecting to people in a way that you couldn't do in any other setting. You can't just go up to someone at a bookstore and say, "Hey, how about that time that you had a mental breakdown, complete stranger?" That art is a way of kind of breaking down barriers and allowing artists and audience members to talk about weird things. Alright, so if you're wanting to do art, just do it. There's no roadblocks in the way of doing something in your room. If you have a favourite musician, copy that musician. If you have a favourite painter, copy that painter. Copy them ad infinitum. Your skill won't be as good the first time, the second time, or millionth time, but it's your life experiences and your imperfections in your work, trying to achieve what your favorite artist does, that makes your work unique to you. So do the work, don't get caught up in being perfect, just express yourself in any way possible that you can. Pick up a pencil, get a guitar, do whatever you want to do, get a camera, just start doing the stuff, because the more you do it, the more rewarding it gets. Yeah, I guess art has been this really rewarding thing in my life that has allowed me to process some difficult trials and emotions and life experiences. So it's been this massive kind of therapy. Just being able to go into my room, sit down and draw an emotion without having to go see a therapist, which can be daunting. I mean, go see a therapist if you need to, but kind of talking about feelings via creative mediums has made it so much easier to talk about what I'm going through with other people in my life. Yeah, that's the main thing that serves in my life, really. The communication of us. And then as a way of connecting with other people as well, because you can sing a song about a particular thing that you're going through or paint a picture about it, and then 5 people might come up to you and say, hey, I'm going through this too. So this really difficult thing that might be happening that you think is singular only to you, probably happening to other people. And I wouldn't have known that without doing creative practice. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more inspiring stories and content.